This is the most important skill for new investors, and it is being able to avoid bad stocks. Now, you might be thinking, why is that the most important skill? That is because in the stock market, if you lose 50%, you need to make 100%. You lose 90%, you need to make 900%. That's how the math works. And here's the thing, the stock market on average only makes about 7%, which means that if the average is 7, you have to make 100. If you have to make 900, that makes the odds extremely slim for you to recover. So the easiest thing for you to do is avoid those bad investments to begin with. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. The first thing you need to do is check out the performance of the stock. What I like to do, and I would suggest you do as well, look at the last 6 months, the last 1 year, and the last 5 years. 6, 1, 5. Just take a very quick look at it. It takes you all of 3 seconds to check it out, and that is something that can quickly tell you, hey, this company is not going in the best direction. And here's the thing, do you want to have to turn an entire ship or stop a train barehanded, or do you just want to hop on a train that's going in the direction you want to go? Okay, just look at it like that. Just look at it like that. Now, just because a company is down over the last 5 years, it doesn't mean it's going to be down forever. But here's the thing, again, what is easier for you to do? To turn that stock around or to just hop on a stock that's going in the right direction? That's the first thing. And also, how rare is it for a company that's been down for 5 straight years? We're talking about 2018. If you go back from 2023, I mean, life was different then. There's a lot that happened over that time frame, and you don't want to continue to have to wait and hope that that company turns things around. But if you've been down for that long, or if a company's been down for that long, it's not impossible, but it is rare. My thing here is hit the free throws, hit the layups, hit the easy shots. That is what's going to consistently make you wealthy than you trying to hit a half-court shot blindfolded. Okay, that makes things much more difficult, and you don't have to do that. And that's the first thing, the very first thing I'm looking at. Anytime y'all tell me in the comments, hey, what about this stock? And I've never heard of it before. That's the very first thing I do. And I can quickly tell you, hey, look, it's down 80% over the last 5 years. Probably not the best company. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is the financials. Now, there are a few things that you do want to pay attention to. What I like to look at is one, free cash flow. That's the money they got in their hand. If they're consistently losing cash, that tells me something. Okay, if you're consistently losing cash as a company, either A, you're not good at what you're doing, okay, or B, you're taking on a whole lot of debt, so you got to figure out what to do with that cash. And what I like to do is look out over the last few years. Particularly for me, I like 10. Some people use 5. It's totally fine. But I'm seeing you consistently lose more money, lose more money, lose more money. That's not good. That's not good here. I don't want my companies to lose money, because if they lose money, I'm probably going to lose money, and I don't like losing money. So that's something that you definitely want to pay attention to. You also want to pay attention to their revenue, their sales. Are their sales at least going in the right direction? Yes or no? If you're selling less stuff consistently as a business, this is not an equation that ends up going well in the favor of us, the business owners, the stock holders. Those are the things that you have to absolutely pay attention to. And again, I like to look at year over year. Some people like to look at quarters, so the last 3 months compared to 3 months before that, the 3 months before that. Doesn't matter which one you look at, but you need to look at it. That's the main thing. If you start to see negative, if I see a company that loses $500 million 1 year, and then $1 billion the next year, and then $2 billion the year after that, what are we doing here, right? You are losing more money, and it is getting worse. That is an issue that you want to be concerned about, and it's probably not a place that you want to invest. If I see a company that's losing money, but those losses are shrinking, saying, look, you lost $1 billion, now it's $500 million, now you only lost $1, usually that means that company is going to be profitable very soon. Not a guarantee, but at least it's going in the right direction. And make sure that you pay attention to the financials. The next thing is called short interest. Okay, now what we call short interest means that there is a company, usually these Wall Street types, people that invest and all kind of stuff. They're betting against these companies. It's usually because their financials aren't good and their performance isn't good. And what happens is they will borrow those shares and sell them on the stock market, wait for those to fall to a cheaper price, buy them back, and give them back to whoever they got them from. So basically, think of it like this: I borrow something from you. Okay, you don't care what the price is. I borrowed it from you. I sold it for 20, and you say, hey, look, I need my stuff back. Sure, I'm gonna go buy it for $1 and give it back to you. It's the same item, it's the same share, right? But it was at a different price. So I made 20. I just gave it back to you and just bought it back at 1. Doesn't matter to you because you have your own share, but I made that difference. I made $19 in that transaction. So they are betting for many of these stocks to drop. So what you can do is Google short interest, and it's going to tell you what companies are people betting against. I do not want to fight against Wall Street. I don't want to invest in a company that is going broke, that has been falling consistently, and I got a bunch of people betting against that stock. It's usually a formula for failure if you are investing in a stock like that. Now, there's a caveat here. Okay, there is something called a short squeeze. This happened with GameStop. This happened with AMC. Is why you even know what those companies are and that they exist is because of what is called a short squeeze. We've done an entire video on that, so feel free to go back and research that one on the channel. I'm not going to go over it all here. Basically, what happens is people like me and you will buy it to stick it to the people who are betting against the company going down. So we're fighting between us, the people, and those who believe the stock is going to go down. Here's the thing. When you're fighting between us and them, they ain't got nothing to do with the company itself. And it doesn't mean that company's going to make or lose any more money just because I'm buying it and they're betting against it. That don't help nobody. Okay, so that's the main thing here. There are people who love to try and do that, but the issue is that relies on a bunch of other people on Reddit or Twitter or WhatsApp or whatever to buy up shares for really cheap and really push the stock to crazy levels. I don't have to rely on other people for me to make money. I'm sorry. I need to be able to do it myself, okay? Because that's the only person I can count on. I can't count on these people with no screen names. I don't know them. That gets real convoluted, and it's very, very messy, and more times than not, it fails, okay? The next thing that you definitely want to take a look at, and I wrote out everything here, is a reverse stock split. This is one of the most dangerous things out there. A reverse stock split is an artificial measure, a cosmetic thing that companies do to make their stock look more expensive and more attractive. For example, let's say that a stock is trading for just $5. I don't like stocks that trade $5 or less. That is usually pretty cheap for a reason, which means you might be broke as a company. They do a reverse stock split and say they do a reverse split and they make it 10x. That means that $5 stock is now $50. And now people like me, I'm like, oh, it's $50. It might be okay. Let's do some more research. Now notice, I didn't say it's $50, I'm going to invest in it. I said it's $50, let's do some more research, okay? But that is what happens. They'll take the shares and reduce the number of shares that increases the price. If you own a company that does any type of stock split, you're not making or losing any more money, but it could make it more attractive. Remember when Google and, what was it? It was Google and Apple and Tesla, they all did stock splits all in the same year. Notice they did regular stock splits. They made their stock cheaper to make it feel more accessible. Apple, I think, was like $300 a share, and it came down. It was like $150 a share. So people say, oh, it feels more affordable. Amazon was, I don't know, $3,000 a share, whatever it was, and they did a stock split, and it made it more affordable, made it feel more affordable, but they had more shares out there. A reverse stock split says, look, if we drop to a certain level, they're going to take us off the NASDAQ. They're going to take us off the New York Stock Exchange. If people can't buy or sell this stock anymore, we need to do something. We need to make it more expensive. So let's do a reverse stock split. Instead of making our stock cheaper and more accessible, we need to make it more expensive so we can feel legitimate. That's a problem. That is a problem, and more often than not is a red flag that the company is either going bankrupt, definitely losing money, and not going in the right direction. I cannot think of, off the top of my head, any company that's done a reverse stock split and then became legitimate. Okay, that doesn't mean it has not happened. I'm saying in my memory, okay, I cannot come up with one immediately and say, oh, they did a reverse stock split and everything was fine. It is very, very rare, and they do it because they are desperate. And when you combine these things together, a reverse stock split, losing money when I'm looking at the financials, and the stock is down the last 5 years or something like that, this is usually a very bad investment. It's something I absolutely should avoid. But people don't do it. People don't do it. There are people who invest in terrible companies all the time because they don't have this information. I want to make sure that is not you. Now, the last thing you might be thinking is, okay, great. I see what I should avoid, but what are the things I should look for as I'm looking to buy a stock, something I want to hold for the long term, something that's going to make me money? You're looking for what to research and how to research. You want to check out this video right here.